QToday.
Hello, Quesnel, and welcome to QToday. I'm Allison Duddy.
And I'm Mitch Vick, and this is our show for March the 15th.
All right, our top stories from the Observer: Community Futures digs deep, and Courtney McLaughlin gives back.
And coming up later in the show, we have Nate in two conversations.
Ooh, lucky us.
Bonnie LeClerc of the Kidney Foundation continues her discussion of March Awareness Month. And Maureen Trotter and Aaron Robinson of the Quesnel Climate Action Group share what their group is up to. Also, Ron Campbell is back with more of his rumblings.
Sounds good. All right, here at QToday, we bring you the recent news provided by our great partnership with the Quesnel Caribou Observer, combined, of course, with a bit of our own commentary. And we also bring you our own stories from the community. Now remember, we do just give the highlights here at QToday. If you want to get all the details, be sure and pick up your copy of the Quesnel Caribou Observer. Now over to Mitch here for the news.
Thank you, Allison. So last week, we brought you part one of an interview with Bonnie LeClerc, chapter president of the Kidney Foundation in Quesnel. Later in the program, we will bring you part two. In keeping with the kidney awareness theme, editor Autumn McDonald's front page story raises more awareness. But for now, we bring you the top 10 kidney facts. We'll go through them right now. Number 10, kidney disease is underrecognized, incurable, and on the rise. So that's a little scary right there.
Definitely.
Number 9, in the last 10 years, kidney disease has increased by 60%.
Wow.
That is a little scary as well.
That is very scary.
Number 8, more than 240,000 British Columbians have or are at risk for kidney disease. Number 7, many symptoms of kidney disease are silent until almost 50% of the kidney function is lost. That's worrying as well. It's almost too late when you determine that you've got an issue. Yeah,
for sure.
Number 6, approximately 400 people in BC are currently waiting for a life-saving transplant. Number 5, the one-time cost for a kidney transplant is approximately $23,000 plus $6,000 a year for the necessary medication.
Whew.
Number 4, the median wait time for a kidney transplant in BC in 2012 was 43 months. Sounds a little scary, but it's an improvement. That's compared to 62 months in 2011. So we've made some progress, but still lots of work to do on that.
You bet.
And number 3, in 2012, there were 194 kidney transplants in BC. Number 2, when surveyed, 85% of British Columbians say they would register to be an organ donor, which sounds like a great success story. However, only 19% have registered their wishes on the organ donor registry, which is a critical stat because we all know that in the unfortunate circumstance where a loved one dies, what frame of mind are those loved ones in to say, please, let's donate the kidney or other vital organs? They're just not in that frame of mind.
That needs to be set out before.
Exactly, it has to be set out before.
Yeah.
And number 1, the number 1 issue, to register as an organ donor, visit www.kidney.bc.ca. And again, we'll have part 2 of our interview with Bonnie later in the show.
Thanks for that, Mitch. Some very interesting facts there,
yeah.
For sure. All right, here is Karen Borsato and Bernice Heinzelman with Big Smiles. Why, you ask? Well, Community Futures is providing a significant boost to the local fundraising effort for a new ice arena and theater complex just down the block from their offices, the new multi-center. This check is a $10,000 boost. In fact, Karen said, Community Futures North Caribou recognizes that social development is an important part of community development, so we're happy to be able to try to support a project that will contribute to the quality of life in Quesnel. Now, Bernice is the chair of the fundraising committee, and she was extremely ecstatic, saying, now is the time for our corporate citizens to get involved and make this project happen. With this contribution, Community Futures North Caribou will buy 40 seats in the complex. By the way, Mitch, do you know that our former mayors have also been involved in some of this fundraising?
Why, yes, I do.
Oh, well, tell us about it.
Very good news story.
Good.
Our own colleague and one of our former mayors, Nate Bello, spearheaded an effort to contact the former mayors and families of those that are not living and he batted 100% with all 6 past leaders and our present mayor buying a seat. This spans back to the families of Alex Fraser and Seal Tingley, and then former mayors Penegrat, Pierce, Wallace, and our own Nate Bello, and current mayor Mary Schustrom.
That's great. It's great to see the mayors and former mayors getting involved in fundraising for the multi-centre too.
Very important project, and it's great to see they're all on board.
It's coming along.
It is. We're going to get there.
You bet. All right, moving along, Courtney McLaughlin is looking forward to camp. The 18-year-old has been invited once again to be a junior counselor and role model at the War Amputee Champ Seminar, March 22nd to the 24th in Vancouver. Born missing her left hand, Courtney attended Champ seminars while growing up to see the latest development in artificial limbs, attend informative sessions on dealing with amputation, and share concerns with other young amputees. She applied to be a junior counselor so she could give back by answering questions and offering advice to younger champs on subjects like dealing with teasing and staring, body image, learning to drive, and employment. This year, the War Amps marks its 95th anniversary, as well as marks the return of more than 1.5 million sets of lost keys. That's a lot of lost keys. Mm-hmm. And you know, Mitch, the War Amps actually receives no government grants to do everything that they do, which is pretty amazing. So for more information, you can call toll-free to the War Amps at 1-800-250-3030. And congratulations to Courtney.
Great story. Very nice young woman.
Yes,
she's
I
the same
understand
age.
you know her.
Yeah, she's the same age as one of my children, and I've gotten to know her. What an inspiration she is. She's going to college and university in Kamloops. Really hardworking young lady, and she still finds the time to support this important project. And
fantastic.
And great story.
Paying it forward.
Paying it forward for sure.
You bet.
You bet. Tom Fletcher wrote about David Black, owner of Black Press and owners, therefore, of The Observer, and his attempt to build a refinery in Kitimat. The Premier, Christy Clark, surprised the opposition Thursday with a statement in the BC legislature endorsing Black's proposed heavy oil refinery. Clark emphasized that the project would be subject to the 5 conditions laid out regarding the Northern Gateway proposal, including environmental safety and Aboriginal consultation. But she praised the job creation potential and added that a refinery would supply the fair share condition. In other words, it would mean cash for the province. Black announced this week that he is finalizing details for the $25 billion project.
Wow.
That's an interesting
Very
story.
interesting.
On the one hand, she's obviously causing a bit of a opposition to other premiers on this project, specifically the pipeline.
Yep.
And then on the other hand, she's encouraging the development of industry that would use that pipeline. So it'll be interesting how she balances those two sides of the equation there going forward.
A little bit contradictory there.
A little bit.
Like to me.
Yeah, we'll see how she manages that going forward.
Thanks for that, Mitch.
Yep.
All right, now on to sports. In Super League curling, with just 1 week left, teams were pulling hard to find the points that would hand them the glory that comes with being super champions. Sky High Scaffolding edged out Jar Transportation 8-7 in an extra end. Douglas Lake Equipment scored 6 points in the third end, taking the victory over the Billy Barker Casino 8-3 in only 4 ends. The Child Development Center was no match for Willis Harper, shaking hands at 6-1 after 6 ends. And A&W and Investors Group took their game to the very end. They were tied after 8 ends, and rather than play the extra end, both teams decided to draw to the button for the winner. A&W ended up coming out on top, taking it 7-6. The final game of the Super League playoff will decide who gets all the glory coming up this Wednesday, and we will keep you posted.
This is turning out to be a really neat tournament and playoff.
You bet.
Sure. It's great. Have you been into any of the games? Or?
I actually haven't. My Sundays are usually pretty busy doing QToday scripts and stuff like that, so I don't get down there very often on Sunday. But
well, they're doing a great job.
I like reporting on it and reading about it.
They got our attention for sure.
That's right.
Just over 50 people from all over the central interior were at Troll Ski Resort last weekend to take part in Telefessed. Though there were out-of-towners hitting the slopes, organizer Dougal Hines, was proud of the depth of the local talent and was on display. Hines said, "It's homegrown, grassroots. We're not Whistler, we don't want to be. This is a small, friendly, family-run hill." After the morning lessons and lunch, the professionals had their chance to shine in the race. Skiers took to the ski cross track at an alarming rate, riding up into the banking and catching air off the jump, before being spit out onto a wide open run, where they picked up even more speed. Sounds a little dangerous for my taste. At the bottom, things slowed down with an uphill ski skate and a search for an avalanche beacon capped off the race. The beacon search served to increase avalanche awareness, the single serious part of the event.
And a very serious.
Yeah, takes too many lives in British Columbia with recreational snowmobiling and skiing and whatnot.
For sure.
The fun continued with dinner, door prizes, and music by Joey Only. Next year, Hines hopes to grow the event and see it flourish in the Caribou. Sounds like a lot of fun where it was had by everyone who attended. So,
You bet.
good event.
All right, so as Mitch mentioned earlier, Ron Campbell is back, and this week he is rumbling again. Here's his take on the role of government. Is it too much? Is it too little? Let's take a look at Ron's rumblings.
Okay, knock 'em dead, Ron.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ron, and this is my rumblings for QToday. One of the big things that have bothered me in the last little while, as you know, an election is coming up. And I feel that it's time that politicians realize that they have to listen to us. I made a note here that it seems that they're telling us constantly what is good for us and not telling us and letting them know what we want. There's a big difference between that. I'm talking about the HST. They threw that at us. I'm talking about the carbon tax. And I can go on and on. There's the increase in MSP. And the denials on their spending. Our tax dollars. There's senators flying all over the country and the world and don't worry about the expenses. Some of those expenses that they're putting in for are more than some people make in a year. And I guess I can only blame one fellow, and that fellow's name is apathy. We, as a generation, have sat back and we're not worried about what's happening. As long as we have our little bit, we're not concerned about what's happening to others. So I guess my whole statement here is this is a wake-up call. We must get involved in what is happening not only provincially, but federally and locally in order to make sure that it'll come to a place where we may not have any choices on how we're governed. Give up apathy, get involved.
Thanks for that, Ron. Well, as we said earlier, March is Kidney Awareness Month, and here's Nate in part 2 of his conversation with Bonnie LeClerc, president of the local chapter of the Kidney Foundation.
Okay, I'm back with Bonnie LeClerc. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Nate.
Thanks for coming back again.
Thanks for having me back.
Last week we were talking about the fact that it's World Kidney Day on March the 14th.
Yes, it is.
Just in a couple of days. And in Quesnel, you are having some activities. And once again, you are the president of the local chapter
Yes, I am.
and BC branch of the Canada Kidney Foundation.
The Kidney Foundation of Canada.
Right, good,
Yay!
good. Kidney Foundation Canada. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the activities that are going to happen here in Quesnel.
Sure. We're going to actually have a bit of a rally. We have the high school getting involved, the Caribou, and so their jazz band's going to come down and play some music
great.
for
They're
us.
Fantastic.
They
Sean
are.
Smith, yes.
Yes, Sean's going to play as well. And we
Okay.
have a couple of other entertainers coming down. And we're just going to have a rally in the community about Stop Kidney Attack and being aware. And we'll be having an information table there with pamphlets available for people.
Okay, this will be,
This will be March 14
yes,
from 10 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon at the Four Corners
okay.
stage.
Okay, great, and I understand it's going to be really nice weather on Thursday. I think that's Thursday the 14th, right?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to have that. People could come. You'll be there. People that have been newly diagnosed might want to have a private word with you or something. You'd be open to that.
I am.
Yeah.
Yep. Having lived through kind of all the stages of renal disease
Yeah.
and the different kinds of treatments, that I'll talk to anybody about it. And
Is one of the things trying to help people to realize that they don't have to be totally depressed
yes.
about this? Yeah.
A lot of people, when they are diagnosed with reduced kidney function, kind of think, "Oh my God, this is it,"
Right.
and it's not. It's sure, you have some limitations, but you build your a quality life around your limitations. So it doesn't mean you have to stop living. You can still go out and do. I walk regularly. I volunteer for different organizations. I'm out, doing what I want to do.
Right. Right. And, you have
And
to
it
get
hasn't stopped me, and there's no need for it to stop
peop-
somebody.
Yeah. And last time when you were here, we talked about what people can do to be aware of their kidney health, and so that information will also be talked about again on March 14th
Yes,
at the
it
Four
will be.
Corners
Yeah.
from 10 to 2. Okay.
Yep.
And also there's something in Wells.
Yes, on the 16th of March, we are actually, our chapter is going down and doing a mini health fair for them, kidney health fair, and that'll be held at the community hall in Wells, and we're going to be doing blood pressure testing and glucose testing
Okay.
down there, and myself and Jean Pascuza will be doing an
Oh, yeah.
organ donation awareness presentation
really?
as
Yeah.
well.
So let's talk a little bit about what's happening with Northern Health. I remember a few years ago we were talking about having some comprehensive plans, and in terms of how the community and your organization can work with Northern Health. Can you go do a little bit more? Tell us a little bit about how that's going.
Sure. Since that meeting occurred, we've actually put a committee together with representatives from Northern Health from at the hospital, and with a few members of our chapter. And we meet on a bi-monthly basis. And any issues that come up in the community from renal or kidney patients, we bring to that meeting. So if there's any issues that come up that something hasn't
It hasn't been optimal?
or smooth running,
Okay.
yeah, then we can bring it up with them, and then we address it at that level.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, it's been actually quite handy, and has improved a lot of the services that are available to us.
And I understand you've also been working on a publication?
We have joined forces with Northern Health, and our group got together, and having lived through the different various stages of renal issues,
Yeah.
we've decided to put together our own tips and tricks on living in a community without the medical assistance that other places
Yeah.
have.
You could say it directly, we could say it directly, like, we have some things, but we're not like Prince George.
Exactly.
And there are still people who have to go to Prince George for treatment, and
There are.
it is an onerous thing for many people.
It is.
Right.
It is.
So there's no use like just thinking it away.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there's people here to support them. There's tips and
There
tricks.
are, right. And so we put out this renal resource guide, is what we called it. And it's got all kinds of places that you can go. It's got websites where you can learn more about kidney disease. A lot of questions we get about diet and things. You can get, we put listings in there for where you can get renal safe recipes. And it's also on managing your own health, being a part of your medical team.
Yeah, that's right. More and more people are involved in it, and they have to be involved in it, don't they?
You have to. I often say, I interview my doctors before I go in. I've been in the medical system for a long time as a patient. So, and my idea and what I say is, I'm looking for a partner because you have the knowledge I need, and at the end of the day, I go home and I have to care for myself.
Well, Bonnie, thanks very much for being with me. I wonder if there's any last words any message you want to get out to the community?
Knowledge is key. If you can go on or come and see us down on the 14th, be aware what the signs and symptoms are, and don't be afraid to go to your doctor if you're worried about it and say, I really would like to have my kidneys checked. I'd like to know what my GFR number is.
GFR.
And that's really key. Be on top of it.
And your phone number if anybody wants to call?
Sure, if they want to call and ask me any questions, my phone number is 250-992-5122. Or you can email me at bonnie.leclerc@telus.net.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Bonnie, for being with me. Good
Thank
luck
you.
and have a great event.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay. Back to you guys.
All right, next up we have another part 2 of another segment that ran on our last show. Nate is in conversation with Maureen Trotter and Aaron Robinson discussing the need for local action when it comes to our environment. Let's have a look at that one.
Okay, we're back talking about climate action change and the climate action group. We took a little break, and last time we were talking when we finished here about food security. And one thing we didn't discuss was the great community garden that there is.
Yeah, we have had the community garden downtown on the school district property behind QJS for the last 3 or 4 years now, and it's fed a lot of people in the community. And this year we've been successful in obtaining grants to begin a new one on the west side beside the skating rink over on Lewis Drive. So we're really we're partnering with some organizations over there to make a start at figuring out how they want it to have it structured and how it's going to work. And I might also mention that part of both those gardens is a composting system, so we really encourage people to bring their kitchen waste to the gardens, and we'll turn that into good soil for the next generation of plants.
That's great.
And so if anybody is interested in being involved in the West Side Garden, they could give the Women's Resource Center a call, and they'll...
So you have a partnership with them?
We have a partnership with them as well as with Baker Creek.
So they've been involved in the original community garden too?
Yes.
Okay. Right. And would you do me a favor? Go get the compost things, the display that's been there for 20 years. That was one of my first things, but it's fallen apart. And I either wanted to be fixed up, but rather, why don't we take those compost bins and fix that sign up and put it on the west side?
We have had a bit of discussion with Tanya from the city.
Right
about
on,
that. So
because it doesn't have the impact that it did 20 years ago when we did that. But
we use a very simple system of pallets, which if you can pick them up for free anywhere, and every year we've had composting workshops as well at the garden, and usually there's a whole stack of pallets. People can take them home and create their own composting system for basically nothing. And we'll do that same system over there. So it's about the size that you need in order to create heat in your compost pile. So it works very well.
Okay.
And
So there's a couple of other activities that Climate Change is doing. There's CD Saturday, the Commuter Challenge coming up, All Candidates Forum. Aaron, what do you want to
I'll jump in on the Commuter Challenge. So we're having the 2013 Commuter Challenge here in June, so it's still a few months away. And it's an opportunity to raise awareness on alternative ways to commute to school or work. So this includes biking, walking, carpooling, of course, taking the bus, and telecommuting. And for those of you who don't know, telecommuting is working from home. And it doesn't mean we're going to work at home every day. That's unrealistic. But on days when we have those inversions in Quesnel, where the air quality is quite bad, if we make the choice to work from home that day and not use our vehicle or minimize the way we're using our vehicle, it's really going to make a difference. It's small changes like that we want to focus on.
I really like that idea. Like, okay, it doesn't mean everybody's now going to work at home. But like we could just say, hey, that could be a little bit part of that's a part of the solution.
Making a simple choice on a daily basis of how we can contribute and minimize.
And CD Saturday, what's that?
Well, CD Saturday is going to be on April 13th, again at the college campus, the North Caribou campus. And it will be an opportunity for people to come and either purchase or exchange seeds and seedlings. And there's going to be a whole range of speakers. So for people who are new to gardening, there'll be an introduction to how do you start a garden, how do you start composting, how do you save seeds. There's a roster of speakers all through the day, so that'll be pretty cool for people that are interested in doing more food production for themselves.
And you have something of a bit of a political nature too. All Candidates Forum?
Yes, our All Candidates Forum, which will focus on environmental and resource issues, is scheduled for April 15th. That's from 7 to 9, again at the campus. We're working with Bev Halschuk from the Political Science class to help put that on. So I think we have the 3 main candidates have committed to being there, and we really encourage the public to come out and ask questions that are related to the sorts of...
Could I have that date again? I sorry.
It's April the 15th.
Okay, 7 o'clock at night?
7 o'clock at night.
At the college
At the
campus.
Yes, so
Okay.
I think it's the first one, the first candidates forum that's scheduled in Quesnel, so
Yeah.
we invite the public to come to that as well.
Okay. So let's wrap it up, but you know, doing all these activities, you need a lot of people, you need to communicate out there. I understand you've got a newspaper column on a regular basis now, Erin?
It's not on a regular basis yet, but that is a future plan. Yeah.
And your first one was on?
Burning wood properly.
Okay.
It was the first series for
Yes.
wood, smoke, and the environment, and now we're going to be focusing on GMO foods, composting, container gardening, issues like
Okay,
that around
great.
climate change.
That's fantastic. Caribou Observer.
Yes.
They're our partners too. And you want more people to join you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our group basically, aside from Erin, is all volunteers. So, yeah, for sure, we're always welcome new people to get involved. The more people that are involved, the more things we do.
Okay, that's right. Great. So any last words? Pretty well want people, you just had them, right?
Yeah, I
Get
think
people involved.
get people involved, and we definitely are trying to focus on local, activities that we can do to improve our lifestyle in Quesnel.
Well, thank you very sorry, my back. Anyway, thank you very much for being with me,
Thanks,
Maureen.
Nate.
And Erin. Really appreciate it. Okay, back to you guys.
Thank you for that, Nate and company. Before we take a look at the community calendar, we would like to thank the Lions for their continued support of the QToday show and remind you their monthly garage sale takes place on March 30th at Maple Park Mall. We apologize if we've been giving you the wrong date, but it is the 30th of March. Now let's check out our community calendar.
Well, that's it for this show. We want to hear from you with your story and your comments on our show. How are we doing here at QToday? Remember, whatever you think is important, we definitely think is important. So email us at qtoday@qcatv.ca with your story, or ask us to cover a story that you know the community would just love to know more about.
You can also watch us online, on demand, at qcatv.ca. And thanks to our colleague Eddie D'Souza, or check us out on Facebook. Big Q, Big T, all one word. As we leave you today, here's some great music from Eddie D'Souza on his collection there, and this one is by Karen Ellis titled Low.
Hey, you did that very well with a nice low voice. Good job. Remember,
QToday is about
Quesnel talking to Quesnel. Bye for now.
Doing everything that makes me happy. Doing everything that makes me happy. If I'm doing everything makes me happy, why am I so low? Look at all the people splashing in the river. Look at all the people splashing in the river. All the happy people laughing in the river. Why am I so low? Why am I so low? Sun come up shining, lighting up the skyway. Sun come up shining, I feel like I could cry. Strumming my guitar, singing to the melody.